A missing 13-year-old has been found, a man was fatally shot, and a 14-year-old was found dead.
All that and more on this episode of APSU TV News. Welcome back to APSU TV News. I'm Ashley Hughes.
And I'm Jalen Gonzalez. A 13-year-old girl reported missing in Dallas was found locked in a shed more than 1,000 miles away in North Carolina after she was abducted and raped by a man she met on social media platforms, authorities said. The girl was found in Lexington, about an hour's drive northeast of Charlotte, the Davidson County Sheriff's Office said in a news release. 34-year-old George Yvonne Santos Camacho was arrested and faces 8 felony charges, including child abduction, felonious restraint, human trafficking, and statutory rape of a child, the sheriff's office said.
Jackson, Tennessee police fatally shot an armed man who pointed a gun at officers. The Associated Press says police responded to a report on shots fired Sunday night. They found Glenard Herndon in the backyard of the home with a firearm. Police reports show Herndon pointed the gun at officers while they were speaking with him, and that one officer fired his weapon and shot Herndon. He was taken to a hospital and pronounced dead. No officers were injured.
Clarksville police are searching for the gunman who shot and killed 14-year-old boy. Officers say the shooting happened on March 3rd at a home on Oakmont. Emergency crews rushed the teen to the hospital where he died. Security cameras in the neighborhood show a dark SUV in the area at the time of the gunfire. Police do not believe this was a random act and that the victim and the shooter were somewhat familiar with each other. At 6:35 p.m. Friday, police responded to a residence on Oakmont for a shooting that had already occurred. When they arrived, they found a 14-year-old boy with a gunshot wound to his chest. He was transferred to Bluntfield Army Community Hospital and was pronounced deceased. Detectives with the Special Operations Homicide Unit and Crime Scene Unit responded to the scene, and this is still an ongoing investigation. Images of the suspect vehicle and a dark SUV were captured on security cameras, and investigators are asking anyone with information regarding this incident, information about the vehicle or the driver, to contact CPD immediately. Detectives do not believe this was a random act. The individuals involved were somewhat familiar with one another.
Clarksville police are searching for a runaway juvenile. The CPD says 16-year-old Malachi Harney was last seen on the evening of March 11th inside a house on Forest Hills Drive. Harney ran out the door, got into a waiting vehicle, and left. Harney is 5'7", weighs about 180 pounds, and has black hair that is cut close on his side with twists on top. Clarksville police note Harney has ties to Antioch, Tennessee, and Davidson County. Anyone with information should call 911 so an officer can check his status.
The East and West Coasts are facing a double whammy of powerful storms Tuesday, with storm-battered California facing potentially catastrophic flooding as the Northeast braces for a powerful northeastern forecast, forecasters say. The Weather Service warned earlier Tuesday that rates of 2 to 3 inches plus per hour and strong winds were expected to make travels dangerous to impossible. It said the heavy and wet nature of the snow combined with the maximum wind gusts of 55 miles per hour would also likely cause the power outages and damages to trees. Snowfall totals of 12 inches or higher were forecast over swaths of New England and upstate New York, with localized totals of 24 to 30 inches possible.
Clarksville Fire Rescue investigators and the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation are looking for information about a suspicious house fire in northwest Clarksville on Sunday. CFR says they were on scene of the fire on Sourwood Drive, north of Dover Road. Nobody was inside the burning building, but there are conflicting reports that the house is vacant. The investigators are awarding up to $5,000 for information that helps identify any person committing arson. If you have information, please call the Clarksville Fire Rescue.
Storm-chasing scammers are preying on homeowners after last Friday's severe windstorm. Local mayors are warning residents to exercise caution. Montgomery County Mayor Wes Golden and Clarksville Mayor Joe Pitts are imploring the public not to fall for these scams. He advises that anyone who knows of a neighbor or senior citizen who may be targeted should share this information and warn them.
An executive director at Austin Peay State University has been fired after documents revealed theft or dishonesty and falsification of reports. Clarksville Now reports executive director of the APSU Center for Extended and International Education, Tim Hudson, was terminated in late January. The termination letter states Hudson had admitted to seeking reimbursement for a conference trip that did not happen. The former executive director was reimbursed more than $800 for the trip. The letter describes his actions as an irresponsible use of university funds. Hudson has been the suspect of multiple audits over several years. That's all for news. We'll be back after this quick commercial break.
My Shiro doesn't always wear a cape, but she always has time for a hug, a smile, for going the extra mile. My Shiro stretches every dollar, puts in long hours, puts others first. But now it's your time, Mom. When you're ready to retire, we want you to be able to enjoy it. It's time to start saving now. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to start boosting your retirement savings today. Visit aceyourretirement.org/Shiro.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzzed and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So yeah, I know, that's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
You're not gonna get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
You want change. You want a community that supports you. You want the knowledge it takes to make a difference in this world. It's time to be more. It's time to be better. It's time to grow. The world you want to see starts with you. The life you want begins at Austin Peay State University. Learn more at apsu.edu.
Welcome to Political Corner. I'm Kinsley Andrews. Tennessee's Republican Lieutenant Governor is facing backlash for supportive, flirtatious comments he left publicly on the young gay man's Instagram. Lieutenant Governor Randy McNally has led legislation for laws regarding restricting drag in public, banning gender transition-related health care, as well as current conversations in the GOP-led House to allow Tennessee County clerks to deny marriage license to LGBTQ community on religious grounds. The Tennessean reports that McNally was living a different life contrary to his voting history online. McNally's public comments appeared over 80 times on intimate shots of Franklin Superstar as early as June 2020 and as recently as February 26. McNally apologizes for social media activity and acknowledges criticism as fair. However, McNally did announce that accusations of his legislation history being anti-gay are inaccurate. The Tennessean Senate is looking to defy a person's sex on a state level following a recent ban of gender-affirming care for transgender teens. WKRN TV reports that legislation would define the distinction of male and female in state law, forcing the basis of someone's gender identity on their anatomy at birth. As a result, transgender Tennesseans would be banned from changing their legal documents corresponding with their gender identity. Tennessee would potentially risk losing millions in federal funding as their new distinctions would conflict with federal law. As the future of the Democratic Party in Tennessee remains uncertain, national officials pushed back legally against fast cuts made to the Metro Council. Following a new law signed by Governor Bill Lee, National's council must be reduced from 40 to 20 members. National officials argue in the new lawsuit cuts to the Metro Council are unconstitutional, as it violates protections surrounding council members' term limits as well as local control. Arguments were also made about such overhauls being too close to this year's council elections. Republican lawmakers defended the changes to the Metro Council, claiming they were acting within the parameters of the law. As the 2024 presidential election approaches, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is expected by most to face President Donald Trump in a battle for the GOP nomination. DeSantis, who was previously endorsed by Trump, has been at the receiving end of very sharp attacks by Trump, including allegations of DeSantis begging for an endorsement for a dying campaign that DeSantis later won a landslide victory for. However, the most telling attack on DeSantis has been the ethics complaints followed by Trump allies. In the complaints, allies of Trump argue that DeSantis violated campaign finance and ethics rules with a presidential shadow run. DeSantis' team later replied to the allegations by accusing Trump of using state ethnic complaints for partisan attacks. DeSantis has not announced his presidential run, but is expected to after the Florida legislation session ends in May. We'll be right back with the weather after these messages.
Yo, camping buddy. Okay, you guys ready?
Dude, I thought you were driving.
I thought you were driving.
Oh, I never said I was driving.
I definitely can't drive.
Okay.
If you're high, just don't drive. It's illegal everywhere. If you feel different, you drive different.
After you joined our family, it was like, I really do feel complete now.
You're not gonna get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff.
Mama!
Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
My name is Mackenzie Wallace, and I'm here with your weather for the week. Our current national temperatures are in Seattle, 49 degrees, Los Angeles, 59 degrees, Denver, 35, Chicago, 35, Dallas, 50, Atlanta, 61, and New York, 56. The temperatures across Tennessee have seemed to drop over the past 2 weeks. In Memphis, we have 51 degrees, Clarksville, 49, Nashville, 48, Chattanooga, 60, and Knoxville, 61. Today's lows across Tennessee: Memphis, 32 degrees, Clarksville, 28, Nashville, 28, Chattanooga, 32, and Knoxville, 31. It's been a chilly day on the campus of Austin Peay today, with the current temperature of 42 degrees with a northwest wind at 13 miles per hour. And tonight's temperature, 36 degrees with a north-northwest wind at 5 miles per hour and a 2% chance of precipitation. Looking at our 5-day forecast, seems like it's going to be a pretty beautiful yet chilly weekend. On Friday, we have partly cloudy with a high of 49, low of 28. Saturday, partly cloudy, high of 44, low of 21. Sunday, mostly sunny, high of 42, low of 19. Monday, sunny, high of 53, low of 27. And on Tuesday, we're going to warm up a little bit, partly cloudy, high of 60, low of 44. That's all I have for your local and national weather. We'll be right back with the sports.
Wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you as you bring our colorful stories to the world.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
Hey, Bobo, do trees tell each other stories?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that.
Hey, why don't we go find out? Listen.
When you look at the number of disasters in the U.S., chances are every area will deal with some kind of emergency in the next decade. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
There's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
Good afternoon and welcome inside the Sports Zone. I'm Jamar Perkins, and I know it's been a few weeks since our last show, and we have a lot to catch up on with sports here at APSU, specifically with our basketball programs. First up, on March 6th, after a 21-38 record in 2 seasons, it was reported that Austin Peay men's basketball head coach Nate James was fired by Vice President and Athletic Director Gerald Harrison. That news was quite shocking, as it is not common for coaches to be fired so soon after their hire, but it was noted that the reasons for the termination included on and off the court issues. Now, after the news was released about the opening spot, there was one name that was circulated around the Twitterverse in the Austin Peay community. That name was Corey Gibson. Gibson was a first-year head coach for Northwestern State this past season and led them to a very successful season with a 22-11 record. But before Northwestern State, Corey Gibson was an Austin Peay basketball player, graduate, assistant coach, and adjunct professor. But now head coach can be added to his governor list of titles as announced on March 12th. This past Tuesday, there was an introductory press conference held at the new F&M Bank Arena, and I was able to chat with Coach Gibson about his homecoming.
Coach, I want to talk to you as far as making the move here to Austin Peay. I know it was something you said it wasn't a hard decision, but it was a difficult decision. What ultimately made you make that decision?
Well, you know, when you equally yoked with the situation, it feels right, and it is right. Most of the time when you equally yoke with something, it's divine, and so you have to follow God's lead if you think in the spiritual realm of things and if you live in the spiritual realm of things. But, you know, we had planted some roots in Natchitoches, Louisiana with administration, with a group of young men that laid it on the line for us. And so it was difficult walking away from that because it was for a short period of time. But there was no ill will intent involved with a quick departure because they know we invested our full hearts and we were committed to doing the job that we did to get the outcomes that we got this year, to have the success that we had. But we had to follow God's lead and make the move here to Clarksville, Tennessee. And we're looking forward to making sure that we make the impact that we need to make.
Sir, one question I had for you too, knowing you're leaving from Northwestern State, I saw as far as coaching and player personnel, we already saw your associate head coach Rodney Hamilton here. But has there been talks as far as bringing your coaching staff and certain player personnel that you can discuss?
My whole coaching staff has been invited to come. You know, I don't believe in, you know, taking another job and then you don't invite your staff to come. I mean, it's not about me. Those guys do the heavy lifting. Okay, so the whole staff is invited to come. It's up to them if they want to come or not. In regards to personnel, we have not had any conversations in regards to that. But that's something they got to reflect on and figure out if you know, what's best for them. But we'll leave those guys alone. They're mature enough and old enough to make executive decisions for themselves.
My last question for you, sir, as far as you talk about being involved as far as on the court and the community coming up in the summer and the fall and this next season, what can Austin Peay fans expect from your program?
Well, what they can expect is they can expect us to serve this community. They can expect us to have unconditional love. And the brotherhood will never waver. And when they come and watch and observe a game, we'll leave this game with an empty tank, and the next day we'll have to refill.
All right, well, thank you for your time. Once again, here with Coach Corey Gibson here. We're listening to APSU TV News.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you, sir. Thank you.
Austin Peay's women's basketball program finished their season last week with a loss against a number 23 ranked team in the country, Florida Gulf Coast, 51-34. The loss, however, was preceded by a quarterfinal win against Eastern Kentucky in the last game in the Dunn Center on March 5th, winning 73-55. In the end, however, the firepower from the eventual ASUN champions in FGCU was just too much for the Governors. Austin Peay players did end up with some great achievements, though, as Anala Nelson made the all-conference freshman team, Mariah Adams made the third all-conference team, and Shamari Hale was named to the second all-conference team and all-tournament team, as well as winning 6th Player of the Year. Austin Peay finished their season with a 17-12 record, and Coach Brittany Young will look to revamp her squad for the 2023-24 season. This past Monday, the Austin Peay football team officially started their spring practice. And I feel kind of bad for the players, as we heard Mackenzie talking about. This weather has not felt very spring-like this week, and it still won't be for these next couple of days. But I know toughness is one of the things that head coach Scotty Walden preaches, so I know they'll be all right out there. But you can catch or see the Governors in action in the red and black spring game at 9:30 a.m. April 15th in Ford Terrace Stadium. It's a great week to be a Gov, as conference play is officially starting for multiple spring sports, as the men's and women's tennis teams played in North Carolina this morning against Queens with 2 identical scores with different outcomes, as the men lost 6-1, but the women won 6-1. The baseball and softball teams will be in action inside Stashville, as the men will host North Florida at 4 p.m. today, and the women will host Kennesaw State at 6 p.m. Both of these games will also be followed by Saturday and Sunday games for the series, and all of those times can be found on letsgopee.com. And one thing I want to talk about, too, is specifically for tomorrow. We're going to have 3 different sports going on around campus. I think that's like one of my favorite times of the year, because you can literally find yourself going between 3 different sports, listening to different sounds, different actions going on, and they're all within like a few hundred feet of each other. So baseball, softball, beach volleyball, check it out if you can. But that's going to do it here for sports. I'm Jamar Perkins. Thank you, and stay tuned for more here on APSU TV News.
My Shiro doesn't always wear a cape, but she always has time for a hug, a smile, for going the extra mile. My Shiro stretches every dollar, puts in long hours, puts others first. But now it's your time, Mom. When you're ready to retire, we want you to be able to enjoy it. It's time to start saving now. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to start boosting your retirement savings today. Visit aceyourretirement.org/Shiro.
The black truck? Hey, Christina from accounting.
Yeah, hi.
Hey, I used to date a girl named Christina.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and then she dumped me for my best friend. You want to see some photos of them that I took?
I don't.
I thought we talked about this, buddy.
Buzzed and overshared again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call a car.
That's a smart idea.
So yeah, I know, that's why I did it.
Hey, you're gonna get back to the top of the mountain.
Does that mean I'm gonna get back with Christina?
No.
Oh.
No.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
You want change. You want a community that supports you. You want the knowledge it takes to make a difference in this world. It's time to be more. It's time to be better. It's time to grow. The world you want to see starts with you. The life you want begins at Austin Peay State University. Learn more at apsu.edu.
Welcome back to the news. The Trinity Episcopal Church has formed a new group, Open Arms, to address the need for healing and support in the LGBTQ+ community. The group offers a supportive gathering on the last Thursday of every month for anyone in this community who is struggling. Open Arms is a non-denominational group open to people of all faiths and no faith. You can learn more about Open Arms on the Trinity Episcopal Church website.
The Clarksville Area Chamber of Commerce cut a ribbon for the new member Monday. Wildflower Bake Shop. Husband and wife owners PJ and Amber Norton both told Clarksville Now that anything they can make from scratch, they'll do for their customers. Wildflower Bake Shop is at 2237 Lowe's Drive, Suite E, and they are open Wednesday to Monday from 8 until 3.
Austin Peay State University is hosting a special Science on Tap presentation titled Science in the Movies, Jurassic Park Edition. Clarksville Now says Austin Peay's College of STEM Dean, Dr. Karen Meisch, and Dr. Kalina Dunkel from the Department of Earth and Environmental Sciences will travel to Huntsville, Alabama on Friday to discuss the science portrayed in the movie. This includes its inaccuracies, misconceptions about dinosaurs, and the creative liberties filmmakers took. The presentation is free, and anyone and everyone is welcome, especially high school students interested in Austin Peay and the Huntsville area.
Austin Peay State University teamed up with the Cumberland River Complex and volunteers from across the community to plant more than 100 native trees on the campus earlier this month. Their work could have been a long-lasting impact on the local environment. The project was funded through Tennessee Valley Authority grant, which was recently awarded to the Cumberland River Compact to improve water quality in the region. Trees were planted at 6 locations, 2 near Emerald Hill Apartments, 2 behind Morgan Brothers Soccer Field, 1 behind the Marks Building and Forterra Stadium, and 1 beside the McCord Building's parking lot.
There's a traveling artist that believes that a paintbrush is a little too simple, so he decided to use a chainsaw and a flamethrower. Take a look at this.
A Virginia-based chainsaw artist is preparing to cut a swath across the country, taking his wood shearing show on the road. Usually chainsaws and flamethrowers are used to destroy, but Glenn Richardson has been using them to create surreal works of art since 2016. He can carve a likeness in a hunk of wood in under 20 minutes, and now Richardson is packing up his bark and embarking on a 19-stop cross-country tour to share his unique artistic gift in exchange for hearing people's personal stories.
It might not be your life history, it might just be a funny story that you know, but all of this is about creating a portrait that's beyond just this piece of wood.
Richardson hopes to reach the Pacific Ocean in the fall, and along the way he says he's hoping to rediscover America. For the first time in roughly a century, a long-lost French painting is seeing the light of day after being discovered buried in the basement of a dental school, of all places. The landscape painting Le Source du Leçon from renowned artist Gustave Courbet was found by contractors in the storage room of the School of Dentistry at the University of Pennsylvania in 2016, and the school says it has since undergone a painstaking restoration process to restore its 19th century luster. It is now the centerpiece of an exhibit at Penn. Finally, it may not be a work of art, but then again, maybe it is. The Air Force unveiled a new color scheme for the new Air Force One jets currently under construction. The colors are meant to be a modern take on a classic design sported by the presidential planes for decades.
I think we can do St.
Take a look at this. I'm Jeremy Roth.
As you can see, we have everybody else here with us today. So Mackenzie, we were all interested. The weather is really chilly recently.
Yeah, you know, I kind of expected for the weather to turn chilly in March, since in February we were having, 70, 80 degree days. I could wear shorts outside, which is kind of concerning for this climate, but it's Tennessee. What can you expect?
Yeah.
I want to say shout out Kinsley for wearing green. I promise I'm wearing green socks, y'all. Don't pinch me after the show. But got a lot of sports action we mentioned. Baseball game literally going on right now. Softball's later. So if you can make it out, go ahead and support your Austin Peay athletic teams.
Yeah.
And while you're out there, like Mackenzie said, make sure you bundle up. Make sure you stay nice and cozy as the winter is coming in from a late spring.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Be sure to follow us on Facebook at APSU TV, Clarksville, and Instagram at APSU_TV. Thank you for watching the APSU TV News Update. Have a fantastic day, and as always, let's go Peay.